Hi, welcome to my shop again. Today we're going to do a kind of a platter. I have a fairly large maple burl that was spalted. If I can get it just in the right place where I'm not going to have glare on it to see the shape and the color. While I'm at it, say happy birthday, America. It happens to be 4th of July weekend right now while I'm shooting this, so happy 4th of July to everybody. Well, let's get started. I'm going to use a pretty large maple burl. I'm going to make a relatively simple bowl, but with a pretty complex piece of natural edge, trying to capture the character of all of that burl for you. Okay, to get started, I made a concave surface here while it was between centers to use a faceplate. Never use a chuck, but even here, because I'm really a very large piece, I wouldn't want to use a chuck because of its limits and the risk of vibration or coming off or something breaking. There's bark inclusions and things in here. So the safest way to hang on to this is with a faceplate with lots of screws. Going to just trim away these air spaces, start to see how much room we have between these wings and a true round surface where the bowl will start. And in the lower camera there you see that's the wing that's the furthest out. And I'm going to make a mark on my tourist just to remind me where that wood starts, because I can't see it. It's just a blur. So that gives me an idea where that wood is, and I can start to sneak up on that. I need to establish two things. I need to establish the depth of where all of these corners are going to touch, how deep I am in there, to make sure that I have a natural edge. I don't want to end up with a rounded surface here, a tool mark in my finished piece. So I have to establish a depth and a width of this shoulder that will show me the natural edge. Now I have a circle all the way around, just barely right there, but I do. So my bowl is going to start inside that circle, and the wing will be all natural edge. I'm loving it. There's a patience thing here. When you have this much airspace going by, you have to move your tool slowly and take small shavings. If you get too aggressive, it'll start to bounce into the air spaces. And I really can't see the wood. You can see now I'm making a rounded surface here for the wing. I want this rounded to come into the bowl. This corner is going to be my limit. If I invade this back space, then I'd have a flat spot there and not a natural edge. So I don't have far to go. I have maybe another 1/4 inch. With a burl, the grain is going every which way, so there's no obvious direction. So I've tried the cuts going both ways. I've tried it with a pull cut, going out and I've tried it with a push cut going in, and neither one seems to give me a much better cut. They're all pretty good here. There's no significant torn out grain. So I've got the shape the way that I want it. Now I'm going to shear scrape and clean this up so that I don't have to sand it very much, especially with all of the intermittent cuts. I can't sand it on the lathe. I have to sand it off the lathe, so that's a lot of hand sanding. Let's shear scrape this and get it nice and clean. Handle down. So I'm slicing at a steep angle. Very slow, deliberate pace. Okay, now I have this curve nice and cleaned up here. Curve here where the wings are. Now I need to get in behind and clean this up and make my wall thickness. And now we're going to start doing it in stages so that these wings don't flex and vibrate. So we'll take small stages at a time. I put the tool rest like this, and that gives me a place to put a light so that I can see this leading surface. Hopefully I can see this when I'm cutting the back of it. You'll see, especially out on these wings, I'm going to take a very slow pace. You have to go slow so it doesn't bounce into the air spaces, and you can make a clean cut, a slicing cut with a push cut here. You will see that I'm sometimes going east-west, sometimes going north-south. Usually want to make the cut happening where I have most of the supported wood when we've got all the voids and natural edges going on here. When I get like this and I'm against the wing of the surface, I'm almost always going to go in towards the stock and have to stop and measure off and make sure that's a uniform wall thickness. So my cut is going in towards the waste wood and not pushing towards that wing when I get my finished cuts, when I have the wall thickness down. Note the slow pace now as I get to my finished product. I have a brand new sharp edge on my tool and a slow pace across the surface. Going to leave a good surface left behind. Then we're going to go shear scrape the outside also. Nice handle way down. Slicing on a steep angle. Great picture right there of shear scraping action. On another topic, I am doing live interactive remote demos, IRDs, about lots of different topics. You can check out the details on my website. I'll put the link along here on the bottom. So as I'm doing the demo, you can ask questions and comment along the way. Check that out if you haven't seen those. And hope to see you soon there. Now we've got the wing area done, both inside and out. Start working on this inside and make the inside shape of my platter, bowl, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, note here I'm going to use Cindy's light again, and this time watching on a steep angle to it to see the contour of that shape. Again, I just sharpened my tool, so we have a brand new sharp edge, and the speed of the wood is going fast, speed of the tool is going very slow across the surface, and right at the tip of the bowl gouge you've got a steep angle, so it's slicing through the fibers cleanly, no torn out grain, even with the burl and the grain going every which way. It's going to have a nice clean cut. Okay, this is a little bit, this is quite unusual that I shear scrape on the inside of a bowl. Usually you can't do that with the grain, but because this is a burl, going to give it a shot and see if I can get a nice clean cut here. Key is the handle way down on a steep angle so we can slice cleanly. Shearing on a steep angle. It's working. Woohoo! Loving it. It is working. Alright, easy as we go here, one stage at a time. And shear scrape very delicately. Clean up that surface. Alright, we have a nice sweet arc there. Follows the flow. And I'm going to leave a little mark, little transition mark, little accent mark. We love it. All right, let's get on the back. We'll get this down and we'll measure this wall thickness and get all this waste wood out and put a foot on it. I'm going to leave the foot rather large because this is a big platter. So it'll sit on the table. Again, sharp tools and a slow pace when I'm doing my finishing cuts. And now I've moved the light over behind so that I can see. There's a good indicator right there, the light shining on that cut surface. That's not sanded. The tool control is so good that the surface left behind is very clean. Again, slow pace. See the surface left behind with the light reflecting against it. Just have fingertip control, very delicate light cuts with the shear scraping. Take any little undulations and tool marks out from the push cut. Now I have it reversed and just on a friction drive with a pad inside and my tailstock up so that I can have access to this entire bottom. And we're going to get the waste wood away and finish off this bottom. Now I would like to do something a little bit different here. I'm going to make a little rim here, tapering down into the bowl a bit, and then I want to make a dome in the bottom rather than making a concave surface in the bottom. I'm going to leave a dome in the bottom that matches or marries the same shape that's on the inside of the bowl. Make a nice clean corner there. And a little bit of a dome. Okay, we have it all off the lathe and polished and sanded, and where the bottom nub was is been removed and finished. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one coming in a week or two or a few. And please take a look at my website to register for individual remote demos that I'll be doing over the internet. Those I do about every 2 or 3 weeks. So keep in touch and have fun turning.